In this short video clip, I describe our modular tabletop unit that can be purchased as a single plant bed unit, or if you have more space, you can add on a second plant bed with an optional storage stand. The way this works is, you come over here, you can see there's a pump down there in that tank, and the pump is going to be pumping the water up into here, into this top bed. At the same time, it's also pumping into this bottom bed. I'm regulating this valve because the water wants to naturally flow into this bottom bed at a faster rate, then it'll pump the water up to this level. So I adjust this valve so that I get about the same amount of water emptying into this bed as it empties into this bed. And you see this bed is actually filled up to the rim, and that's because I have my standpipe right here just a tad bit too tall. And I wanted to leave that in there so that you can see that once you build these types of systems, you probably will have to go back in and kind of optimize things exactly where you want them. Notice that the overflow valve is right above the standpipe, so in case this standpipe ever gets clogged up, it'll overflow into this valve and going back down into the fish tank, so it doesn't drain out of your system. And I usually like to have the media at least at the very bottom of this or midway through, just so that the water doesn't splatter on my leafy vegetables. Now, down here it's basically the same setup, except this bed is a little bit shallower than this bed. And so you can choose which beds you want to plant vegetables in that have shallower root systems. And what's nice about this setup is that you can make this the media bed, and you can make this a raft bed. And the media bed would act as a biofiltration unit, and also it would allow you to separate the solids before they ever went down into the raft system. And that way you prevent any kind of solid buildup on the roots of your plants. So you could have Now you can easily turn this into a two-tiered system where you had a media bed at the top and a raft system at the bottom with just a few minor changes. In order to run the system as a flood and drain, you would have to change the standpipe in the bottom plant bed so that it no longer had a drain hole and only had an overflow pipe so that the raft bed did not lose water once the pump was shut off during the flood and drain cycle. Once the pump was shut off, you could still have aeration in the raft system supplying oxygen to the roots. Now you would also have to shut off the valve to the bottom plant bed from the fish tank and allow the top bed to drain into the bottom bed instead of back into the fish tank, supplying the raft system with the water. Or you could leave the bottom bed as is and run the system continuously by converting the top bed drain into a bell siphon. Either scenario would work great so that you could both have a combined system of a media bed on top and a plant bed at the bottom that ran as a raft. This plant bed does come with its own stand that is useful because it has a compartment at the bottom that you can use to store your supplies in. I actually use this space to grow my transplants in, and it makes a perfect humidifying chamber. Now you can opt to replace this plant stand with an extension that can be added to the vertical pipe that runs from the fish tank and supplies the water to the bottom and the top bed. Details on how you add this extension will follow, and it will also be in the manual with this kit. This type of design allows you the flexibility to use your own stand to set the second plant bed in your own preferred space. Now this system was also designed so that you can use either one or two plant beds and still achieve balance by simply changing the fish density. To learn more about how to balance the system so that you have the correct plant to fish ratios and the right biofiltration capacity to keep the system healthy, I will also include in my reference manual entitled The Nuts and Bolts of Backyard Aquaponics with the purchase of this unit. Or you can buy this manual separately on my website as well if you want to build this system yourself. So just as a recap, you can purchase either one fish tank with one plant bed attached to it that has an adjustable flow rate, or you can add on a second plant bed to this module by simply slipping off the cap. Adding an extension that's specific to the height of this plant bed when you purchase the stand from me. And you simply slip on the second plant bed by pushing in the elbow. Or you can purchase an extender that can be adjusted depending on what the height of the table is that you put that second plant bed on. The stand that you can purchase from me will actually have a storage compartment. And that's basically the unit in a nutshell. So thank you for watching.